and give you a brief overview of what My Big Campus is and how it's going to be helpful to you and your students for the one-to-one computing. So what My Big Campus is it's a collaborative work area that extends your classroom into a safe environment. I know a lot of people in our district have been trying to use a lot of different Web 2.0 tools and are concerned about the fact that are they safe for students? Will they get into places and get to information that pops up that's inappropriate for them? But with My Big Campus, you can still have the ability to use all those tools in a safe environment. So what is so great about My Big Campus? Well, the first thing is that there's a shared resource library for smarter filtering. And one of the nice things about it is a lot of times teachers will find educational videos on YouTube. And of course, here in the district, YouTube is blocked for students. So how do you get them to have that access? Well, one of the things that you can do is download a YouTube video into the resource library, and students can go in there, and because it's behind our light speed filtering system, they're going to be able to go in and view those videos. So that's going to be a really nice feature right there. Again, I talked about the monitoring of the Web 2.0 tools in a safer interaction and collaboration, because everything on My Big Campus is behind our Lightspeed filtering system. I think you're probably somewhat familiar with that. What Lightspeed does is it monitors students' use on the computers by keystroke. So how it's been used in the past is if they suspect that a student has gone into a website through the back door into an appropriate website, they can go into Lightspeed and they can look and see by keystroke where that student has been. So if the student is trying to tell you they haven't been in a site, there's a way for you to go and check it. So all of this is behind that Lightspeed filtering, and it's all safe and monitored. Integrated with, and that's just what I was talking about, integrated with Lightspeed's filtering policies. So it keeps your users safer, and you're able to monitor where they're going and where they've been. And the other thing that's nice is there's no extra charge for this because it's part of a package that we purchase through Lightspeed. So it's free, just like the internet tools are. So that's a very big plus. So here it talks a little bit more about the smarter filtering via the resource library. Educators can submit any URL or video that's not password protected. So when we go on the computers and you log in, you're going to be able to see the resource library, and here it shows the videos that have already been uploaded by a teacher. Files may be shared and optionally limited to district access. So that'll be nice for your students online at home. If you want to put assignments online and share them with your students, they can work on them at home, and that's all secure. And the library items bypass filtering to minimize overblocking, and that's kind of what we were talking about, is sometimes you get frustrated, teachers get frustrated because they find a really good site, really good video or something, and then it ends up being blocked. And so this way, if you upload it into the resources library, the students are going to have access to it also. My Big Campus versus the educational video library. Here are the similarities and the differences between other video libraries versus My Big Campus. So when we say video libraries, we're talking about YouTube and other kinds of video libraries that are available online. Both allow designated user groups to submit content. Both allow content. Both of them allow the library content to bypass filters, and both strip away surrounding YouTube content. And My Big Campus, there's more contributors, more sources of content. Submissions are auto-approved, and the library items are shared across districts. So that's another nice option is you are able to share resources, if you choose to, across districts that are also My Big Campus users. And a couple of My Big Campus users in our area are De Pere and West De Pere. And I know that they're, in Ashwaubenon. And so I know a lot of districts who have Lightspeed are coming on board more and more all the time because of the fact that it's a free service as part of Lightspeed that they're already paying for. So that's a really nice My Big Campus resources and library safeguards. It's SIPA compliant and enforced at submission. What SIPA is the Child Internet Safety Protection Act. And so that's a federal grant or law, I guess, where you have to have filtering in place on your internet for students. And so this, My Big Campus, is compliant with that. Documents are scanned for viruses, so you don't have to worry about students uploading and putting documents in there. If they're have viruses, they will be scanned and cleaned. The usual security suspects are blocked from submission, and these are this we've already talked about with our email. You're supposed to not open files that have exe, bat, and zip files, and so those are blocked. Users police the site with flags. We'll talk about that once we get in there. User activity is reported, so that's the other aspect of this, is there's a lot of reporting available, so you're going to be able to see if students have gone into inappropriate places. And we talked about this a little earlier too, safer collaboration through monitored Web 2.0 tools. So look at all of these different tools that you will be able to use through My Big Campus in a safe environment that you've maybe wanted to use, but you haven't really done it because you weren't quite sure how safe that was going to be. So there's a messaging options available in there, online assignments, private file storage, blogs. There's a shared calendar, real nice shared calendar in there. And then you can create groups, and then within those groups you can have discussions, and there is a chat, and then just recently in June they now have a video chat. So the video chat is kind of like Skype, and that's all built in within that environment. We'll take a look at that when we get in there too. Wiki-like pages, resources, calendars with options to make publicly accessible for improved teacher and parent communication. Web 2.0 tools. So here it just kind of goes through the different, it's kind of hard to read these, but this is a blog here, and it just kind of, this activity page, if you're a Facebook user or an Edmodo user, it's like your status. So once we get in there, you're going to see that everybody that it's part of your class or group that's made any kind of comments or whatever on the activity feed, you're going to be able to see that. And there's blogs and the resource sharing over there with the resources. It's kind of hard to read this. I maybe should have turned the lights down a little bit. Here's the video chat down here, options and email. There's like an emailing type system in there too. So it's very self-contained. I guess what the point I'm trying to make is that you're going to be able to, secure this and do all of these things with your students in your class and share all that information right online. So there is profanity interception. These are some of the collaboration safeguards. So when you create groups and you do discussions like that, there's going to be these safeguards in there that are going to create reports. If kids do any of that kind of thing, that's going to show up. Suspicious activity reports and controlled access by policy. And what that means is, on the Lightspeed side, and this maybe doesn't mean a lot to you right now, but there are rules and policies on that side that are set up that filter over into My Big Campus so that the kids, will be covered for the policies. Content flagging, so if they're in there using inappropriate words, all that's going to be flagged and monitored activity by users. The website support. This is going to be really nice. Once we get into the site, I'm going to show you this. But there's a community help center for teachers where teachers are helping teachers in there that's really good. There's a frequently asked questions area. There's video tutorials for all of the different features and functions that we're going to go through that, show you how to use each one of those. This is the one that I really like a lot, and if you ever have a question, you might like this too. There's a live chat with Big Campus Bob, and it's kind of like you submit a question to him, and within minutes you have an answer to it. And I've used this a couple of times when I think in the first overview we did in June, we had a question about something, and I submitted it, and I got a question back very quickly. And then when we were at the session at the Summer Technology Academy last week, there were a couple people that had questions and submitted them into Bob. So we'll take a look at that once we get in there, but that will be very helpful to you too. And then this dedicated teachers chat support, which it'll be, I believe, similar to this, but it isn't implemented quite yet. And that's the thing with My Big Campus. They're very responsive when you want to have enhancements or add things. An example of that is We were working on an EPUB document last week out at the Summer Technology Academy, which probably doesn't mean much to you right now, but that's the extension on the end. And they only accept certain file formats for you to upload in here. And we sent a message to Bob Campus, and within 5 or 10 minutes he says, you can upload that file now. And we just uploaded and it was in there. So very, very responsive. I'm just very impressed with that help piece of it. What will you do with My Big Campus? Well, you're going to be able to access educational resources and make those resources available to your students. You're going to be able to extend your class discussions online, which will be helpful to you since you're going to be one-to-one computing and all of your students are going to have their own computers. So that will be a nice feature. Communicating with all group members at once. That'll be nice because you can create the group and you can send a message to everyone in the group. You're going to be able to write and publish documents, create online study groups, use a shared calendar, and manage class assignments. So that's why I think My Big Campus is going to be a really, participate in professional learning networks too. And pay nothing extra. So that's why I think that My Big Campus, that this is the perfect group to begin using this because of your one-to-one computing, because you want to be able to extend things beyond your classroom because students will have access at home at night. And plus all the resources and everything that you put into My Big Campus will be available to the students anytime, anywhere, any place. So you're not tethered to our network because a lot of times, they'll save things on our user directory and then they'll go home and they won't be able to work on them. Or if they're doing a group project and one of the group members is out sick and their project isn't out in the sick person's directory, you won't have any of those problems. You'll be able to store everything here. So you can take a tour of the site at this web link, and then you can watch videos of users sharing their stories at this website also, and we'll take a look at those once we get on the computers.
This is a general introduction to the teacher side of My Big Campus. Even though it is another school, they are going one-to-one just like us. We will use Moodle for many of the features she talks about. The main point I want you to see is that this is a safe, monitored place for your classes. You can monitor all your students' internet access with My Big Campus.